and I feel like it needs to be addressed.
Good. Well, we're just going to go ahead and have Mikey go ahead and adjust the settings for the other posting that's taking place. For some reason, I'm a little bit tilted on the bottom one, and we just want to make sure that everyone is able to see us very nice and clear. So again, we want to say thank you guys so much for joining us this evening for our conversation about double standards. So I feel the same way that Krystina does in regards to why is it that us as females have to adjust ourselves when it comes down to being in the presence of or around men. So we've talked a little bit about exactly how that perception can go and be, and why it's important for us to be able to carry ourselves a certain way regardless of how others may carry themselves. So I kind of wanted to touch base on that, and the example I wanted to be able to utilize would be in regards to a police officer, okay? Now, if you are dressed as a police officer, just as an example, you got the hat on, Bill, you got your badge, you know what I'm saying? You got your little belt on, you walking around, you know what I'm saying, doing what you do. And somebody comes up to you and says, excuse me, officer, can you point me in the right direction? I'm kind of lost. I need to know, where the nearest fire station is. And then that police officer goes, what? Why are you going to stop and ask me where there's a fire station at? I mean, do I look like I can be able to give you directions? You're thinking, well, you're a police officer. I would figure if I had questions that I could stop and ask you. You're a police officer because of the way that you are dressed, the way that you are conducting yourself. Now, does this give grounds for people to approach you in any kind of way? No, it does not. But what it does is that it gives off a nonverbal communication of exactly what your position and what your authority is. So it's not that the person is wrong for approaching a police officer because they're dressed like a police officer. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to address you like an officer because this is the way that you are presenting yourself. You haven't opened up your mouth and said anything, but I am taking into account the nonverbal and what I see you are dressed as in a uniform of. And so I understand that aspect of things. And so it does have a lot to do with the way that you carry yourself. Now, if it was an undercover officer, obviously they're in what we call civilian clothes, and they're just regular. So you may not necessarily go up to them and go, excuse me, officer, do you know X, Y, and Z? Because how would you know if they're an officer if they're in civilian clothes? So it is a means of being able to recognize who someone is based off of the way that they're dressed. I wouldn't go up to a fireman and say, excuse me, judge. Well, apparently he's not a judge because he's a fireman. You're able to tell their position or who they are based off of the uniform, okay? But it does not give you a license to be disrespectful to that person. You understand what I'm saying? Because each person is an individual. How do you feel about those examples that I gave in regards to a police officer, a judge, and a fireman?
Well, just saying, I wouldn't know which cop got his costume at if it's that realistic. But in those circumstances, I see exactly where you're coming from. Those are uniforms of people who are around the city and have very distinctive uniforms. Mm-hmm. And then take that out of context, I am a bit on the other side of the fence.
Okay, let's hear about it.
So for me, I feel like how you perceive things is how you perceive things. It's usually different for everybody. But how I think is that when you go out and you are dressing a type of way, I believe that people dress for themselves. They don't have any intention of anything else. Maybe they want to look cute. Maybe it's like, oh, this would be good for like an Instagram photo. And that's how they do it. They carry themselves at the point of, I look good. I look good for me. You know what? I want to look in the mirror and be like, wow, I snatch. I do this right. Great. And that's how I see it. I see them as just being very creative and liking what they're wearing and what they're doing. And then put that back in your examples. I don't see that fitting that way. I would not walk up to a police station and go in to see a bunch of firemen. I'd be very confused.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, in your context, I totally agree. But take that out of context, and I'm on the other side of the fence.
Well, I totally agree with your side of the fence in regards to saying put it over on another side. Because, yes, when you dress, you are, baby, I want to like what I see when I'm looking at me when I'm walking, what? Past the mirror. Okay. So, yes, I do dress for me. I like to know that, baby, I am snatched. I am doing the thing. I'm working it, hello, because I like the way that I look. But I also have the understanding of people are going to approach me based off of how I am dressed, whether I like it or not, whether or not it's their zhuzh or not. Like, I'll use for an example. One of my favorite colors to be dressing in is, of course, coral, baby. Okay. Because it's a nice, lively, vibrant, popping color, and it looks totally amazing, by the way. And I love the way that I look in coral. It's very, very energetic, and you know, this melanin be popping in it too, y'all. It be popping. So I feel very confident in wearing, you know, that color. And I do get a lot of compliments when I do wear that color. It's very nice. But most importantly for me, I love that color. And I love to be able to wear that color. But it may not necessarily be somebody else's cup of tea. And they may be looking like, oh, all that orange. Oh, my gosh, it's too much. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I want to dress how I want to be approached. I do not want to give off a nonverbal in my communication to anybody, whether it be a male or a female, that would suggest that it's okay for someone to be disrespectful, to approach me in a disrespectful manner. And whether we like it or not, there is the verbal communication and there's nonverbal. And when people see you, it's the nonverbal that goes first. They don't have an opportunity to be able to hear you, talk to you, be able to hear your wonderful mind and your ideas. They have their perception of what their thought of what a uniform is supposed to look like for a certain type of person, and then they feel as if though, well, typically when someone is dressed like this, they like to be talked to like this, or maybe they perceive it's okay to address this person in this particular manner, but it's not. So, it looks like somebody has a question. Come on, hit us up.
Well, Miss Cynthia Davidson said we should not have to adjust ourselves. And Miss Renee said coral is definitely gorgeous.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. In a way, I totally agree with us not having to adjust ourselves. I agree to that to a certain level. Let me explain why I say to a certain level. Again, I want to make sure that my nonverbal is not communicating to somebody else that it's okay for you to approach me any old kind of way. I don't want you to think that you can be able to take the liberty to approach me as if though someone else that you see dressed like this, that it's okay to be derogatory in your conversation toward me. So outside of how I am presenting myself dressed, it is a lot of how you carry yourself too. It is a nonverbal way of being able to communicate. So are you walking kind of with, like this and, kind of moving like this, your head down, not giving eye contact? That's communicating that you're not comfortable. You're very shy. You may be dealing with low self-esteem. So it does communicate that, and people do pick up on that. Whereas if your shoulders are back and you giving them eye contact and giving them that smile, and you flashing it, and you like, listen here, baby, I come to slay. And I will do it, okay? And just a smile is very inviting as well, because that's another nonverbal. So when you're communicating these things nonverbally, it does have a way of being able to invite people in to conversation with you, and for them to know how to be able to approach you, to say, oh, wait a minute. Now, just because she's dressing this way, and normally when people dress this way, they're either angry or depressed or, are very flippant, or they don't know proper English or grammar. It is, again, their perception. But once they're able to get past the nonverbal, the package that they're seeing, then they can be able to engage in conversation. And I want any conversation that I engage in with someone to be positive. And if I have to check somebody, I'll check you. I ain't got a problem doing that. Because maybe you got me confused with somebody else. But it's enough for me to be able to communicate already to say how I will be handled and how I won't be handled. So I don't want to put on a uniform of a police officer and then get offended if somebody comes up to me and says, excuse me, officer. I'm like, why you call me an officer? Who says I'm a police officer? Well, you dress like a police officer. I don't know what to tell you. So I'm going to come and approach as such. Until you let me know that that's not who you are, then I got to adjust myself, okay, to be able to make sure that I am approaching you in the right vein and in the right lane. So tell me, for you, what are some of the ways that you're able to communicate non-verbally for those who maybe don't know you?
I will say I've had experience with this. When I first moved down to Texas, I went to elementary school, and people thought I was a bully.
Why is that?
I had a mohawk and a jean jacket on, and for some reason that conveyed to them that I was going to be mean, I was going to be pushing people around, and sadly, also because of my melanin, I'm not sure how this could be feared. I mean, it's beautiful. Either way. And then now, they know me, and they're like, well, she's probably one of the most dorkiest people I'll ever know. And so, non-verbally, I am not the best at communicating at that, I will say. But for other people, I feel it's very easy to pick on what they're doing. Pick up on what they're doing. So, how I would communicate non-verbally, if I was better at it, I usually I wear what I want to wear. I feel like if it makes me feel comfortable, if it makes me feel cute, I'll wear it. But then, if you should be able to look at me and then know, okay, it's a girl and she's just wearing cute clothes, I'd like you to approach me as such, or says, hey, she's a human being. I should maybe give this human being some respect. And non-verbally communicating this is a hard thing to do, I will say. So I am not the best at non-verbal, so it's hard for me to answer your question.
Yeah. Well, I think that you did in regards to saying, well, I dress how I want to dress, and it is to be comfortable for me. I think we got another question. Hit us with it.
Miss Renee said, we can't control another person's nonverbal confidence is key. Sometimes a smile can be misinterpreted as well. And Miss Cynthia Davidson said, I will handle them if they need to be handled. And Miss Renee again said, look how beautiful she's growing. I remember her in ballet class.
Yes, she was so little then. Absolutely correct to say that we do not have any control over how other people perceive us. This is very true. What I'm saying is that I'm not trying to give anybody any bullets neither. So for me, that's what it means to me. So, and another layer of all of this is actually being able to speak to the heart of saying that just because you see a female that may be wearing some very revealing clothing, it does not give the male and some females the authority, if you will, nor permission to be disrespectful to them, but at the same time knowing and understanding that it is their perception, and just because it's their perception, it does not mean it is your reality. So I'm not, again, handing anybody any bullets. And yet at the same time, I'm dressing what is going to be comfortable and confident for me. At no point in time do I ever want my daughter to dress in a way to where somebody thinks that they can be able to walk up to her and be disrespectful. Ain't gonna happen, Captain. Ain't the way we roll. That's not the way that she carries herself. But you have people that do not know how to be able to do that. God wired us certain ways. Females, we develop a lot mentally a lot faster than males. Okay? So these are some things in regards to studies as well. So it's not just based off of opinion, but it's also based off of studies as well as guys. To be able to know and understand that men, they are very much so hardwired by what they see. And you do have men and some women that are not in control of themselves. Does that mean that I have to dress in such a way? Because honestly, if they're not in control of themselves, they're not going to be in control of themselves if I'm wearing a high turtleneck, okay, and, you know, boot down where ain't no skin showing. They're just not in control of themselves. But again, I'm not trying to open up the door nor give anyone any opportunity to be able to feel as if, though, it is an open invitation for them to approach me in any kind of way, nor to give into what that person may be dealing with. Because there are people that do struggle with that and just are not able to overcome, or are just not in jail, okay? Just to be totally honest. And so that's what my concern is in regards to my daughter and how she carries herself, because the reality is that there are those that are out there that are violating just based off of what you are wearing. And it doesn't make it right. It is not an excuse, and it does not give permission. So we have some questions. Go ahead and let us know.
Well, they both said preach. And Mr. May said, I teach my kids no matter what, to respect is the key.
Yes, respect is definitely the key. And also for that person to respect themselves as well. That, you know, you can end up with egg in your face. You trying to run up on her and be like, hey, shorty, what's good, ma? Okay? And if that ain't the way, I know she's looking at me crazy because they're not used to the Jersey side of me.
No one says ma.
Yeah, up in Jersey we do. When a fella trying to holler at you, they call you ma for short. Or what's up, shorty? Any of my Jersey people can go ahead and double down on that one. I've been called ma one too many times, and what up, shorty? And I'm like, hey, poppy. Anyway, so I digress.
Yeah, digress, please.
So it's all in the approach, okay? And how you are being approached. And again, not giving anyone an opportunity to feel as if, though, it's okay to approach me in a disrespectful manner, or approach any of my other sisters in a disrespectful manner, just because they feel as if, though, other people that they may have come in contact with, other females that they may have come in contact with that were maybe dressed similarly, were receptive of that invitation. And again, I'm going to communicate with my nonverbal of how I carry myself, which is like a queen. And when it comes out of my mouth, you're also going to know exactly who I am. So you're not going to have to question that at all. So tell us a little bit more, Krystina, about what your style is. I want to hear more about your style, because you say that you dress for you. So I would love to be able to hear more about what your style is and what draws you to your particular style.
So my style is all over the place. I am constantly have half my closet girly girl, half my closet tomboy, and there's hardly any middle ground, because I'm the middle ground and that's my closet. I love anything from big poofy skirts and ball gowns to BMW pants with a tank top. It's all over the place, but what draws me to it is the creativity in it. You can show me a video of one thing, let's say archery or painting, and all of a sudden that's my main passion in the world. My goal in life is to become a master at it. And it's just how I'm not sure. It's how I get drawn to things. You can show me anything, and all of a sudden I have this deep interest for it. And I want to know more about it because I have such a hunger to learn more and understand more about everything else around me. So I have, in my closet currently, I have crop tops, I have shorts, I have jeans, and I have long sleeves. It's all over the place, and I love all of them. Some make me feel really comfortable. Sometimes I want to be like, I want to look like an artist who hasn't left her house in a week. And sometimes I want to look like I just walked out of I just walked out of a Fashion Nova shoot, and I'm looking bomb, and I'm walking out the house like, hi,
Own it. I
look amazing, and you better believe it.
All this confidence, I don't know where she gets it from. So, so basically, because you love these different pulls from different areas, that's actually what we call eclectic. So you have eclectic taste.
Yes, very much so.
Aha. I can appreciate eclectic taste because I like things. I'm drawn very much so to things that are different and unique. I absolutely love the different and unique. There was a time frame where, I was sundressed down, maxi dressed down. You have no idea about how the comfortability of a maxi dress. I still love a good maxi dress. Don't get it twisted. But I do love the femininity of being a woman. And high heels is me. Even my sneakers have a heel. It is what it is. Only time I get country is when I want to take my shoes off, okay? And so I'm barefoot. But other than that, you will find me in heels. My girl Renee know exactly what I'm talking about. That's my soul sister. Yes, indeed. Oh, and we're almost running out of time. Look, I make sure he got to keep us on track, y'all, because we be having such a good time. But eclectic. So my style is more so, I don't know what my style is. I wouldn't say it's eclectic, but at the same time, it's sophisticated. It's sophisticated, classy. Or what do you think my style is? How about that?
I say that your style is definitely sophisticated, but also like down to earth, where I can catch you going out to a nice modern barn, if that makes sense.
Yes,
like
it
you
does.
go out there, you look like a queen, but then also you look like someone you can walk up to and say, "Hey, you mind if I borrow $10?" And you'd be like, "Yes, or no." She seems very down to earth, but also she holds herself with such confidence and such uniqueness that you just are automatically drawn to her. And I feel like her clothing has a lot of impact, and it helps with that.
Thanks, babe. I didn't know that, y'all. I just be, like she said, I just be drawn to stuff. I'm like, oh, that's a cute top. I go ahead and pair it out with this, and this. Yeah, I do get excited when I get in my closet.
She does. She does. I can vouch for that.
So it looked like somebody also got it honestly. Well, we want to thank you guys so much for joining me and Krystina this evening on this edition of The Cozy Niche. And if you didn't pull anything out of our conversation, we hope that this is what you pull from it, which is it is okay for you to be unique and different. And you need to be dressing for you. But realize that when you are dressing for you, that you are communicating nonverbal. So the way that you want to be approached, baby, dress as such. Because you may not be a police officer, but if you're wearing the uniform of a police officer, don't be surprised if people are approaching you and asking you police officer type questions. Okay? Just be prepared. That's all. And carry yourself accordingly. Because again, you cannot change the way somebody else thinks. But you have all the power and authority for you to be able to walk in who you are, communicate it nonverbal, and if they need a verbal, baby, serve it up to them. So that way they'll know exactly who it is that they are dealing with. So this is Jersey Girl here, and of course the lovely Miss Krystina Rowe. You have any last words you want to give out to the people, girl?
Just have fun. Your style's your style, and own it. That's really about it.
Bam. And on that note, we're going to pop it off and end it with the
Bye.
bye.